Joe Biden was not equipped to be president. Now, AOC is interesting.
He has huge crowds that are showing up in liberal places, but also conservative places.
Although she does have potential.
Let's hop into one more episode of Fox News The Five with liberal Jessica Tarlov holding it down on why we should feel the burn with Sanders and AOC and how they're getting right what Trump gets wrong, and what honestly plenty of Democrats are getting wrong as well. So be sure to smash that like button for us. It helps us out a ton, helps the video get out a ton, and let's just get right into it.
Bernie Sanders, I think people on the right and the left would have to agree, has been one of the most authentic communicators, certainly, that our side has ever had. And he has huge crowds that are showing up in liberal places, but also conservative places, to hear him talk about what's going on in the country. He has an economically populist message, the same as Trump did in 2016. Remember, they were the two sides of the horseshoe.
It's really simple, actually. People have an appetite for this sort of populist, anti-establishment rhetoric where they feel like these establishments, these institutions have failed them. And the difference between Sanders and Trump is that Trump is using this as a marketing ploy. He's using that to take that rage from the class struggle, from the economic struggle that is very real in this country, and then pointing it at cultural things like trans and immigrants that aren't really an issue in this country. So then when he gets in office and it's time for him to act on his words, when he's pretending to be a populist and anti-elite, and time again, he just has to refuse to do that in favor of the billionaires, people will slowly begin to catch on. While Sanders has unapologetically never changed. He's remained a fierce voice for what is right. And those who may have chose Trump when they went down that branch of which one of the populists will we believe will come back to that. And it's also both admirable and a politically strategic move, which is why he can now pull so hard from both sides of the aisle, no matter where he goes, because people want help. And the same people who might have felt disaffected from Democrats now understand that they're not going to get it from Trump either.
As Democrats search for people to be leaders of the party and also a cohesive message, Bernie has the most authentic one that's out there. And I applaud AOC for doing it. And I would just add to Dana's point about The View, what she could do is show up in those places and give the answer that maybe they won't like, right? And just say, actually, this is the way you do it. This is how I won my super competitive race in Michigan, right? Where I got Republican voters and right-leaning independents to vote for me.
We need to point out how Trump has failed living up to his promise of being for the people this entire 4 years, for the common worker, this entire 4 years, and provide then a real agenda in its place for how we're the only party that truly is, the only party trying to actively raise the minimum wage. We tried multiple times under Biden. We can propose multiple times under Trump. We have asked Trump about it as well. It's something that can get more money in your pocket without having to defund Medicaid from your grandparents to do it. The only party pushing for universal health care, get rid of those expensive premiums and costly meds that Republicans have allowed to get out of control. Or you can just go down the line, free education, free childcare, transportation. If Republicans want to be small government so bad, let's highlight the massive failures of it the next 4 years and how big government provides the biggest baseline for all of its people. Their small government has gotten us multiple plane crashes, measles outbreaks, the NIH defunded in the meantime with no economic relief. But I mean, it's so great, right?
It was pretty clear why we voted for Trump. Anybody that looked at the last 4 years knows Joe Biden was not equipped to be president. Now, AOC is interesting because she has to get attention. She can't go on MSNBC and CNN to get attention because no one's watching. So she has to try to break into where the audience is, which is here or anywhere on the right. But I don't really have a lot of high expectations because I saw her not do so well with NPR. That seemed challenging, although she does have potential.
I love how the right now just wants to pretend that 2018 to 2023 doesn't exist since they now won in 2024. And they also want to pretend like they haven't been crying about it since 2020, where it's like Democrats are few and far between and non-existent and needing to do anything as they're on the brink of being eradicated just to get some sort of existence or, acceptance from the right. Like, first off, Trump got less than the majority of the vote, where less than half the people in America even vote. So it's a fraction of a fraction. And he barely beat a candidate who was running on 100 days to his 3 years, beat her by 2 or 3 million, a couple percent. Realistically, electorally speaking, a couple tens of thousand, 100,000 votes in a few states. But second, the Democrats won everything in 2018, in 2020, in 2022, in 2023. Had Biden not stayed in the race too long, dropped out last second, leaving us with this unprecedented kind of plan that we had to run on, we'd probably win this year also. AOC is clearly playing the role of opposition party the way she should and the way her constituents want her to. I mean, she won the election in her state. Doesn't that mean she has a mandate to do that? What's the issue from conservatives?